If you're riding a pre-built board, chances are it can't do this. Today, we're going to introduce you to a skateboard of a different breed, and explain why we no longer ride it. And in case we didn't make it clear last time, our channel is Skatemetric, and we do intend to create new content on a regular basis. What we're looking at is a 41-inch longboard with trucks over a foot wide, sporting 100mm urethane wheels. With its drop-mounted trucks and stiff bushings, this board is extremely stable, and it ought to be, because it's also massively powerful. How powerful? Let's put it this way. This board has seen over 200 miles of use, and to this day, no rider has ever given it full throttle. In fact, they haven't even come all that close, not even on hills. Before we examine the parts and the specs, we thought it would be entertaining to briefly compare its performance to a boosted board, which, as you may recall, was the quickest consumer board we've ever tested. Unfortunately, it's apparently monsoon season here in Seattle, and drag racing a board that's already caused 3 terrifying accidents through puddles and streams did not seem particularly appealing. But we did it anyway, albeit with a little extra restraint.
3, 2, 1, now.
As we can see in this rolling drag race, in which our terrified rider was unwilling to apply more than a fraction of the throttle, the DIY board leaves the boosted in its literal wake. And of course, if we were willing to ride faster than 20 miles per hour, the gap would only widen. A lot, in fact, because with its current gearing, the DIY board should top out at just a little under 50 miles per hour. Mind you, you'll have to trust our math here, because the fastest we've ever dared ride was just a hair under 40. Because we're all about precision, we attached our sensors to the DIY board to quantify its performance advantage. And as you can see, our best 5 to 15 mile per hour time on record puts this board truly in a league of its own, having the boosted's impressive record of 2.3 seconds. A more talented rider could easily run this benchmark in under a second, because unlike other boards, this one isn't bottlenecked by power, but rather by traction and the size of the rider's stones. And to illustrate a slightly more practical use of this torque, we took 3 of our best performing boards to the steepest hill we could find. For some reason, hills never look very steep on camera, but this one's grade of roughly 44% is nearly twice the 25% max grade boosted advertises. The hill's first victim was our DIY e-board's dual belt driven shortboard, which has proven to be a strong performer in previous tests, but stalled almost immediately. The boosted fared much better than we expected, but ultimately wasn't up to the task either. And as you can guess, the DIY board effortlessly zipped up the hill, with traction presenting the greatest challenge to its ascent. If you're wondering why this board seems to be so dramatically more powerful than almost anything else out there, the answer is very simple. Rather than using the cheaply sourced 18650 cells found in almost every other skateboard battery, we used high discharge hobby lipos, and their output isn't strictly controlled by a stingy BMS. Of course, we do use a BMS for charging and balancing, but it's bypassed for discharge. High output batteries are no good if the rest of the system can't keep pace, so we installed massive 6374 SK3 motors and used 2 VESC 4.12s to drive them. And if you're thinking that that's not a particularly smart move, you're not entirely incorrect. The cheap VESCs we purchased cannot dissipate heat rapidly enough for sustained power delivery. We're in the process of swapping out the FETs, and we strongly caution prospective buyers against using cheap parts for high-performance builds. When these components fail, it can be very painful. Despite this board's many impressive features, we rarely ride it these days. Though it's proven to be a phenomenal suburban commuter, as the weather improves, we're having more fun taking it easy with shortboards and flexi decks. But we love how uniquely capable this machine is, and how easy it is to customize and service it. If you found this interesting, consider subscribing. We have a WowGo 2S in the mail, and we're excited to compare it to Boosted's finest V2 Dual Plus. Also be sure to check out our website, skatemetric.com, for interactive electric skateboard benchmarks like those seen in the video.